What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the March 25th, 2024 edition of Raw Talk. Megan Morant, Sam Roberts in the studio replaying the final segment. They actually kind of start off the show in a somber tone, not being like, oh, we're here to recap Raw. After Rock beat the shit out of Cody to close the show, they open up the episode on kind of a somber note, like, oh, Rock beat up Cody, what are we going to do? They replay the final few moments of that, which was cool to kind of replay the highlights of the segment before getting into Rock's actions and how disgusting they are and the aggression, the aggressive streak that he's on right now, all this other sort of stuff. I thought that was a nice change of pace as opposed to coming on in, oh, happy-go-lucky, welcome to Raw Talk. It was an amazing angle to close the show, but from a storyline standpoint, it was kind of like a low moment for the babyface, and something that the talking heads on these shows should be disgusted at, which they were, so I appreciated that. But Sam Roberts says that Cody Rhodes needs to keep his promise of becoming champion. You fucking think. No shit. Cody Rhodes, after that beatdown on Raw, for as amazing as that was, and the execution of it, the way it was filmed, everything, it was great. But if the follow-up is not Cody Rhodes winning the belt at Mania, then what the fuck are we even doing here? So I completely agree with Sam Roberts here. If he can't keep the promise of what he said when he came back to the company from 2 years ago, that he was going to win the championship at some point, and it has to be this weekend, then he's just a loser. They replayed DIY versus New Day from Raw, ending in a no contest, Judgment Day interfering, laying out everyone at ringside, including Awesome Truth. We hear from New Day and DIY. Xavier Woods says that they're going to beat the hell out of Judgment Day, get their comeuppance at WrestleMania. They don't say specifically that they're going to win the tag team titles because DIY is right there and they also want to win the tag team championships. But Gargano just says, listen, Judgment Day ruined our match, a match that people were looking forward to for a long time. Because I guess we've never seen DIY versus New Day before, which is crazy to think about because they've been around for like the last decade, but I guess that's correct. Just talks about forming an alliance with New Day for next week to take on Judgment Day's Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. So they don't really tease any tension here. So they hype up the 8-man tag team match in the studio. Sam Roberts says they will not coexist. So he's already calling it now. They will not coexist in that tag team match next week. Sam Roberts emphasizes that CM Punk will be the one with a mic at WrestleMania talking about how, he's going to be the one on commentary. He kind of made it sound like, he said, he's going to be the one to announce the new World Heavyweight Champion. He's not the special guest ring announcer. He's the special guest commentator, which I guess he still would, in essence, be referring to either Rollins or McIntyre as the World Heavyweight Champion by just default, I guess, by being on commentary. But still, they talk about that a little bit. They mention, or the replay rather, the Candice LeRae win over not Maxine Dupree, it was Ivy Nile, actually. They replay the final few moments of that matchup. We hear from Hartwell, Nile, and Dupree after the fact. And so this followed up on a backstage segment from WWE.com, their social media channels, where Candice told Indy, listen, if you don't like my actions, you can either like it or leave it. Either join me or we're done. So Ivy and Dupree were talking about that here. And before they can kind of even answer Kathy Kelly's questions, Indy walks up. And Indy says, Candice just threatened to leave me. And Maxine says, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave her? And Ivy Nile then said, well, listen, if you don't, it's a reflection on you. So then for me, the feed that I was watching the show on cut out, and then it just cut right back to the studio. So I don't know if I missed anything. I don't know if that was if it was just a stream that I was watching it on or that happened to everyone. I'm not sure. But I think I caught most of the segment there. We didn't really get an answer from Indy was the point. So Sam Roberts, as he did last week, defended Candice's actions and being just a heel or whatever, obviously. They preview Gunther and Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. They recap Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beating Sami, which I liked. They also replay the Sami Zayn, Chad Gable segment interaction backstage. Sam Roberts makes an analogy to his son, saying that Chad can give Sami, basically what he's saying is, because he told his son, don't fall off the chair, and his son would fall off the chair anyway. So he's basically saying that Chad can give Sami all the advice that he wants. When it comes time for execution, Sami will still not do it. So it doesn't even matter. And he's not even necessarily wrong with that. Chad can give Sami pointers, which I'm not sure how he would even be right as Chad, because Chad also lost to Gunther a few different times. So I love Chad Gable, but why would Chad Gable's advice work if he did not beat Gunther the last time? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, they talk about that. They also replay the Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch segment from Raw, which was really good stuff. Sam Roberts says that Rhea Ripley hasn't even hit her peak yet, and that's what Becky Lynch is failing to understand. They recap the Ricochet win over JD McDonough, and they catch up with Ricochet after the fact backstage. Him and Jackie Redmond, I think, or Kathy Kelly. I think it was Kathy Kelly. But either way, Ricochet said that he's been overlooked as of late, and he's currently 3-0 over Judgment Day, winning in the Gauntlet match against JD McDonough, beating Dominic Mysterio last week on Raw, and also beating JD McDonough this week on Raw. And then he calls out the rest of the members, Finn and Damian, saying that Mommy can come get some if she wants some, and saying that Sam won't like that. I'm thinking, what is he talking about? He's talking about the ring announcer, Samantha Irvin, who's obviously his fiance or wife or whatever it is. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, he calls out the Judgment Day as a whole, basically saying that he runs Raw, and instead of All Rise Judgment Day, it's going to be All Rise Ricochet, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but, it's not a bad saying. All Rise Ricochet does indeed have a nice ring to it. They replay Jey Uso beating Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event. Do not go into the post-match aftermath with Cody Rhodes and Rock, which was one of the best parts of the entire show. They just replayed Jey beating Nakamura, which no one gave a shit about at that point, because it was all about the post-match angle, but whatever. Sam Roberts says the Bloodline has created this chaos with Jey and Jimmy, Solo, Rollins, everything else. It's going to be complete chaos at WrestleMania, and I can't fucking wait personally. And then to close out the show, they hype The Rock and Roman Reigns for Raw next week in Brooklyn, and also hype a live bump for WWE World coming up next week. So they're doing the bump live. I don't know if it's going to be on, probably not Wednesday, because WWE World doesn't open until Thursday. Probably Friday. It might be Thursday. I don't know. But they mentioned that for anyone interested in attending for next week, so just to point that out there. And that was it for Raw Talk for March 25th, 2024. Good episode here. We got to hear from, like I said, Ivy Nile, Candice LeRae, not Candice, but Ivy, Maxine, Indy, New Day, DIY, Ricochet. So a lot of different people on this episode, following up on what was a great edition of Raw. My full written review available right now over at WrestleRant.com. Check it out. Great show from Monday. Probably the best Raw, not only this year, but in quite a long time. And that's saying something, because Raw has had pretty consistent quality so far in 2024. And I thought the show was tremendous. So I'm looking forward to WrestleMania itself and Raw for next week. The Raw Talk review should be up at a normal time next week. I'm leaving for Mania like on Wednesday or Thursday. I think late Wednesday, actually. So the Raw Talk review should be on schedule for next Tuesday. Keep an eye out for that. Until next time, guys, I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.